Here's my review of Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. I think that this is a very fun movie, and I think that is exactly what you would expect. And first things first, Eddie Murphy is still like he is Axel Foley. Like even though it's been so long since he last played the character, like it feels like not a day has gone by. He's just able to so easily just slip into this character, and he is a blast as always. And he is, I mean, of course, the movie, he's the main character, but he is, like, what carries this movie. Like, if it wasn't as funny as he is, if he wasn't as likable and charming, I feel like a movie like this couldn't work, especially nowadays, because it is relatively simplistic like, a movie like this, at least by today's standards. But I think that that's a good thing. First things first, I think that there's some very good, great moments with him and his daughter, and it has, I think, because of that, it has more, I guess, an emotional pull to it. As the previous ones, I mean, I feel like they weren't really trying to be that at all. They were just fun action comedies, and I think that because you have his daughter in here, it just kind of gives more stakes. Not necessarily, I wouldn't even really say more reasons to care because, like, at least for a movie like this, I kind of only really care about, like, just the comedy because Eddie Murphy is just so funny. And I'm not really looking for a big dramatic story for a movie like this. But if I'm getting a pretty good story along with it, that's fine. Also, William and Bobby, like, they're also just really fun. I think that William's a bit of a standout. Like, of course, he's Eddie Murphy, and he is the star. He is the best part of this movie, obviously. But I think that William is great as well. And I have seen, like, some other people say, like, I've heard some people say that, like, if they found this to be not necessarily better, but they found it to be as good as it is because of maybe like the way the story is, because the story is like, I guess, more complex. But personally, I didn't really, not necessarily like the complexity of it, but just like for a story like this, I wasn't as invested in the story as I was in the characters. But I think I can see why people might think that way. But for me, I'm just here to have fun, especially with a movie like this, with a premise like this, in a franchise like this. And I think that that's fine. And the main 100% number one rule of a comedy movie is it funny? And yes. So it succeeds at what it tries to do. It wants to be a funny movie, and it is funny. Eddie Murphy is one of the funniest people on the planet. So of course it's going to be very funny. And I feel like at least for me, that's really all I really cared about, and that's really all I wanted. So I think that with a movie like this, if you like the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, you're going to like this movie. And for me, I've only seen the first two. I've only seen them like the other day. I watched the second one for the first time, and I watched the first one like a couple months ago or maybe a year ago for the first time ever. And I like both of them. I didn't see the third one. I don't. And I'm like, whenever everyone's heard, it's the worst one, so I'm fine. But honestly, like a movie like this, I just want to have some fun, and I have fun. And I think that, at least for me, that was just my expectation, and that's what I wanted from this movie. So if you just want a fun buddy cop comedy, action comedy with a funny movie star, then you're going to get that because Eddie Murphy is great, and yes, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the other actors are good, but it's just I think that when Eddie Murphy and when Axel Foley is not on screen, I find myself just not nearly as invested because it's just not as fun. So yeah, I thought this movie was fun. I didn't think it was amazing or anything, but I just thought it was a really fun time.